Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Ohio in mode shuffle yet again. This is an absolutely insane game where I have to rely a ton on my teammates to win this convoy game. We have to go to the north to secure the endpoint for our convoy ships. As we already know, convoy is a very difficult game mode to defend the ships as they push in, since they go so quickly and often through very easily controlled enemy territory. So there's a lot of early game aggression you have to do in order to protect them from being spotted and taken out rather quickly. In this case, myself and the Kitakazi are the only ones in the north here, so we're gonna have to deal with a pretty massive enemy fleet here coming up to these northern islands, and that's gonna be a massive problem in the late game if they get really strong control over the northern side of this map. But we also have to rely on our teammates in the south to protect these friendly transport ships as they push north. Since if we all go to the north to defend the endpoints or get control of the endpoint, of course, the enemy team will just kill the transport ships before they even get remotely close. So I said at the start of this game, it's going to go one of two ways. Either I go to the middle to try and help defend these transport ships, and we lose the late game pretty much guaranteed, or I go north and just hope my teammates are going to do a good job at escorting the convoy ships up to the northern half of the map. And from there, hopefully I've done enough to get the end destination ready. And that's what we're going to do. We have to try. And this is a pretty scary thing to deal with. Petro, GK, Marceau, another GK, Ohio for cross maps potentially. This could go poorly, but we have to go. And that's what I like about this mode shuffle experience is you're forced to go. There's no, oh, I'll wait at the back of the map and camp a little bit, and that's gonna make the end game a little easier, and I don't have to do anything. We'll just win the game by camping at the back of the map, potentially, if we just control all the cap zones. That's typically how random battles goes. You're rewarded for playing passive. This game, though, you can't. You just cannot. So we are going to the north here. Still not overly aggressing here. It's important to realize that these convoy ships move rather quickly, but not so quickly that I have to full charge in 2 GKs, a Petro, and a Marceau. I can play this smart, and smart looks like getting into a slightly kited position here, still aggressive, but not fully pushing in, as you do have an advantage when you are moving away from the enemy ship. Whoever's pushing in is at a disadvantage, especially a GK, as we looked at the other day. That ship has such terrible firing angles that, yeah, you're just exposing so much of your ship just to shoot all your guns that you're going to take so much damage. And you saw how much damage we did to his superstructure there first salvo. Pretty insane. You're going to see just the difference here between Ohio and GK. There's really not much of a contest here. GK is so much worse than Ohio. It's kind of crazy how bad GK is in these situations where theoretically it's supposed to be good, right? Like, this is where the ship should be good. But we're taking an angle here where we're not fully bow in or stern towards the GK, and that's allowing us to shatter some of his secondaries. The other thing to consider is our secondaries are going to do better as people push into us, since more of them are going to be hitting that superstructure. So that's going to get us some full pen damage, and more importantly, fires. Ohio has an insane fire chance on its secondaries. I'm showing a little too much broadside here, but I figured I didn't want to just do the scummy border tactics move of just sliding along the border and nobody can hit you. I try not to. There are certainly times where I do, and in competitive, obviously you do it. In clan battles, all that stuff. You just do it because it's in the game. But in random battles, in mode shuffle, I'm here to have a good time, so I don't really want to necessarily abuse that all the time. So we decide to reverse, and it works out. GK gets a couple more shots into us, but really not too bad. We're already up to 125,000 damage, by the way. Really, really quickly able to dispatch of this enemy Kurfürst. And we lose some of our teammates and most of our first wave of convoy ships. They're already here. I've barely dealt with this GK, and I think I did rather efficiently and quickly. We've got a lot of HP left over. But our first wave of convoy ships are already pretty much gone. That's how quickly they push up. Really, we need to hope the second layer of convoy ships are going to be protected in time. So it's time to turn around and turn back in. This is the downside of taking the safer angle against that Kurfürst. We saved so much HP for it, but it's possible I'm too late now. So I just have to turn and full send it in. My teammates are coming up here though. They've done a nice job so far. And Palmer and Incomparable pushing up. And our DDs are actually going to do an amazing job this game. Destroyers are so important. And when you have good destroyer players on your team, it makes the game so much easier. And we're going to see that towards the end of this game. But for now, we must push in. It's important to always consider who could shoot at you, where torpedoes might be coming from, where cross shots might be coming from. There is a carrier in this game as well, so we got to worry about midway. There's a sub in this game. We got to worry about the Gato there. So there's some potential downsides to pushing in here, but we still just have to go for it. Ideally, we're going to isolate on this Kurfürst and angle towards the Ohio and the Izumo towards the middle of the map. Maybe preventing the Petro from shooting at us by keeping that island between us and him. We're not the first one in though, so the carrier shouldn't be focused on us quite yet. We do have ample healing available to us, as well as some upgrades on our commander that are going to give us an extra heal at 2 million potential damage. That's a really nice skill to have here on Ohio, and I've combined that with the extra heals to begin with. So we potentially have a 6 heal Ohio here. The reason being, we have 40-second heal cooldown, which is incredibly quick. So that allows this ship to really burst through a lot of its healing quickly and sustain itself in an engagement like this against a Kurfürst. Sure, we'll take some fires, sure, we'll take some damage, but we should be able to out-heal some of it. Not entirely, though. Our teammates take out the Gato. There's a destroyer player taking out a submarine for us. Thank you very much. And now, unfortunately, our incomp does go down, as well as a Brisbane, actually, as well. But they've managed just barely to hold on to these Liberty ships as they're pushing up to the north. But they're about to cross this all-important island chain, and this is where it's very easy for them to just get taken out. Any sort of spotting, any sort of cross maps from the Yamato, GK, Petro just staying bow in, very difficult to take down. But again, that positioning allowing us to isolate 1v1 against this Kurfürst here, working out pretty well. But you know me, there's a carrier broadside. I'm obligated. I'm obligated, guys. I have to try. I must try. And the thing about Ohio is you take accuracy mod. So we get ourselves a nice carrier kill there. Not quite a dev strike, but enough HP that we're very satisfied with that. Now over 230,000 damage already. AA kicking in. Notice another skill gets activated here. That's the 2-point AA skill. That's going to reduce the consumable cooldown on your ship while your AA is firing by 40%, which gets us back to a heal even quicker. So even though we just healed, we're about to heal again. That is the strength of Ohio in this mode. You don't have to worry about your long range potential. You don't have to worry as much about concealment. You can go all in on the secondary brawling capability of this ship combined with this amazing healing. Liberty ships are still pushing though, guys. The Marceau, Petro should be getting spotting on them any minute here, and so I just decide to send it. This is maybe overly aggressive, but here's my plan. My plan was to get around this corner, maybe just ram the Petro, and then get secondaries on the Marceau. But unfortunately, well, we're gonna get stuck on this island, and that's kind of disappointing. I was a little frustrated at the moment, I will admit it. So the next best thing we can do here before we die is to shoot the Petro in his upper bow. There's an icebreaker, but if you shoot over top of it, well, you're gonna get some bullpens. That's a pretty insane amount of damage into a Petro of all things, but at close range you can get through some of that armor. We do go down, but we've done hopefully enough that our teammates can clutch up. We got ourselves a Marceau very close, as well as that Kitakazi who killed that sub for us earlier. Very low HP on some of our friendly DDs, but they do manage to get a fire, and this Petro should go down. Feels good. Feels good, man. Now they have to deal with the Marceau, because again, that spotting can allow that enemy Yamato to kill a lot of these Liberty ships. So what I'm hoping for here, while we're waiting for this game to end, what's going through my mind, I'm just hoping that when the Marceau opens up on our friendly low-health Marceau, that maybe the Preußen and Delaware can get some shots in so they trade. I'm assuming that if the Kitakazi gets out of his smoke and opens up, he's going to die quickly too. But they're playing it patient, which is really, really good. Liberty ships still pushing, ever moving. You see how much I had to push there? If I had stopped behind that island to try and heal up, sure, probably I would be alive right now, but I think these Liberty ships would have taken much, much more damage. And certainly that Petra would have taken much longer to take out. Our Marceau reverses out, catches the enemy Marceau off guard. And, well, I'm just hoping they can trade our friendly Marceau out. But look at our legend of a Marceau. He lives it. He actually lives it. And so does our Kitakazi, man. I'm just going to spam compliment these guys. It's so rare, it feels like, that you get the good DD players on your team to clutch out a win like this. Feels good, man. It feels really good. So props to the Kitakazi, props to the Marceau players, and the rest of the team, honestly. Because, like I said earlier, I went to the north to try and secure the endpoint, but that doesn't do anything if my teammates don't do an excellent job to protect our convoy ships as they're pushing towards the north. So we're actually going to win this one. Very challenging game mode, though, Convoy. But I enjoy it way more than the arms race mode. The reason I like Airship Escort, though, over Convoy is you don't have to worry quite as much about losing the game just to the Liberty ships dying, right? The airship is not a target at all, so it's really just a zone that you got to operate in, and because of that, it's a little bit more fun for me to just full send it in without having to worry about that. But a very nice game, and look at that secondary damage, and, well, the trade against that first GK, man. Poor GK, dude. Ohio is just in another league. But to be clear, I don't think he played it that poorly either. It's just that GK really struggles against an Ohio. What can you do when you're going to get your first salvo taken as 24,000 damage into your angled superstructure? You're playing well, you're angling, you're getting into close range with your GK, and then an Ohio just slaps you for like a quarter of your HP through your superstructure. Feels bad. It's a lucky salvo on my end, but when you know where to aim on these battleships, especially GK, it's pretty easy to exploit some of those weaknesses baked into those ships. One of the reasons that those German battleships can struggle at closer ranges, not only because of those insane turret angles on the GK. But this is a video about Ohio, so what was the build? Well, it looked a little bit like this. Taking advantage of our extra immunity time is very nice when you're pushing up. You can get between islands or get to an island while using the immunity of the damage control here, allowing you to damage control a double fire or something like that and not have to worry about taking another one for another 30 seconds. It's awesome. And then the heal, of course. We get 5 heals with this build base, and then once you hit 2 million potential damage, you can get another one. And with that skill, it also reduces the cooldown time on the heal. So it's very easy to get yourself in a situation where you're healing more than half the time you're in battle, because that cooldown time can easily drop below 30 seconds, which is the active time of your heal, which is pretty hilarious. So with this build here is what I was running. Random battles, you want conceal, you want things like fire prevention maybe. Like, you really have to concern yourself with more mid-range and long-range gameplay in random battles, but Mode Shuffle, guys. Mode Shuffle allows you to be a little greedier and play at those closer ranges and have a ton of fun. 9% fire chance with this build. If you took yourself Demo Expert, you get 10% chance on these secondaries. That's why you get so many fires on Ohio compared to Georgia and Massachusetts. It bumps the fire chance by almost double, which is a little ridiculous. Certainly don't have the pen of a GK, but when people push into you, more of those secondaries are going to hit superstructures and still do some very, very nice damage. Well, that's going to do it for the Ohio in Mode Shuffle today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.